Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Frank Young, one of several service associates this morning. I don't think I have to tell you to turn off your cell phones or any other electronic devices. Please keep your electronic devices on so that you can enjoy this service. This congregation welcomes all people, regardless of their age, religion, race, nationality, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or anything else that has been used to divide people. We are a group of people with our own opinions, our own ideas, our own dreams, but we share ideals. We share a common belief in a liberal religion. In our discussions, we may disagree with each other, but we must always remember that what unites us is stronger than what separates us. We must always depart from each other, aware of the love that we have for each other.
Good morning. Sam has asked me to read the fifth principle this morning. Fifth principle states the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. Quote, in our religious lives, the democratic process requires trust in the development of each individual conscience, a belief that such development is possible for each of us, as well as a commitment to cultivate our own conscience. We would call it a commitment to the value of each person. In the words of Theodore Parker, quote, democracy means not, I am as good as you are, but rather you are as good as I am. My connection with the sacred is only as precious as my willingness to acknowledge the same connection in others. This was written by Reverend Parissa Parsa, who is Executive Director of the Public Conversations Project. Have a wonderful day.
I've asked Leo Martland to light the chalice this morning. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy.
I'd like to share the opening words, number 545 in the back of your hymnal if you have one available. Poem by Langston Hughes, one of my favorite poets. And in the background, you'll see a painting by John Laska, one of the founders of our congregation. In time of silver rain. In time of silver rain, the earth puts forth new life again. Green grasses grow and flowers lift their heads, and over all the plain the wonder spreads of life, of life, of life. In time of silver rain, the butterflies lift silken wings to catch a rainbow cry, and trees put forth new leaves to sing in joy beneath the sky. When spring and life are new. Be well.
Please join in the affirmation, sung by Betsy Bear, and the words will be on your screen. And then please join in hymn number 101, Abide With Me, also played and sung by Betsy Bear.
In greening lands begins the song, which deep in human hearts is strong. In cheerful strains your voices raise. about life's little day. Earth's joy grow dim, its glories pass away. Change and decay in all around I see. O thou who changes not, abide with me. I fear no foe, with thee at hand to bless. Ills have no weight, and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where, grave, thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me.
Each week we ask for financial support for the congregation. Thank you to everyone who is continuing to pay their pledge. We still have bills and some wages to pay. You can mail checks to Post Office Box 3070, Terre Haute, Indiana, 47803.
This is a paradoxical time, as I've said before. Some can and must do their jobs from home. Some already did their primary jobs in their homes. Some must go out and do essential jobs that are more dangerous than staying home. Some cannot work at all. Some are unemployed. We must remember that in this particular situation, staying home, if one does not have an essential job, is a good thing. We don't want everybody to go out to try to find a job. Emergency benefits are not perks or giveaways. Helping our friends is a way to help them do this duty and stay home. We must also remember that the impulse that others of us might feel to go to work or go out and do things in solidarity with people who must do the somewhat riskier jobs and the risky frontline jobs would just make those jobs more dangerous. We need to offer our thanks for a distance. We need, those of us who are earning money still need to spend it from a distance. We must find other ways to support each other and support our neighbors and let each other know that we need each other and we care. As we saw earlier last month, this congregation has a tremendous pool of talent that can be employed to comfort and to inspire. And we can do that. Now we remember all those who have a sorrow and cannot meet friends and relatives to grieve. All those who have a joy they might feel awkward about sharing amid so much worry and sadness, and all those who feel a loneliness that the telephone and the computer can't fully repair. Let us now in the silence take a few moments for reflection.
The Bleeding Heart by Mary Oliver. I know a bleeding heart plant that has thrived for 60 years, if not more, and has never missed a spring without rising and spreading itself into a glossy bush with many small red hearts dangling. Don't you think that deserves a little thought? The woman who planted it has been gone for a long time, and everyone who saw it in that time has also died or moved away, and so, like so many stories, this one can't get finished properly. Most things that are important, have you noticed, lack a certain neatness. More delicious, anyway, is to remember my grandmother's pleasure when the dissolve of winter was over and the green knobs appeared and began to rise and to create their many hearts. One would say she was a simple woman, made happy by simple things. I think this was true, and more than once in my long life I have wished to be her.
The transitional words are read by our speaker, Glenda Breeden, who will then proceed immediately into her talk. Glenda, as you know, lives out in the woods near Spencer in Owen County. And her sermon today is a narrated walk through the woods near her house. And we will be playing the audio that she sent us over a series of pictures that she sent us of roughly the places that she's walking through. So we really will go on a walk in the woods in the spring with Glenda Breeden.
Today is March the 31st, and I'm scheduled to speak there at Terre Haute the last Sunday of April. And I've decided to take a walk today here on our land and just invite you to walk along with me. This is an unusual time. This is a time when we're kind of uncertain about what tomorrow's going to bring, or the end of the month, or whenever. And so who knows what's going to happen by the end of April? Who knows what will be happening with my family or your family or our communities? And so I decided that I would just talk today, and you can listen if you want and go for a walk with me. This is one of the ways that I am keeping or at least trying to keep my spirits up during this pandemic. I'm keeping in touch with friends, keeping in touch with family. I'm trying not to watch much TV, or trying not to be on internet very much, because I do better when I don't listen to as much news. Bill passes on enough of it for me to know what's going on if I don't sit and listen. But anyway, I'm out walking today. I just came past our lake, and I'm headed down the hill to the Creek Valley with my dog. I left Bill at home. I think he's doing a Zoom meeting with the folks at Champaign-Urbana UU Church. And so I thought I'd give him his privacy to do that and take a walk. I'm also turning loose a mouse. This is the 5th mouse that I've caught in the last 5 days. And I'm hoping there's an end to this. I take them all the way down in the valley and turn them loose on the other side of our creek, and wish them well. And even I've been letting them loose in the same general vicinity, so that maybe if they're siblings that have grown up somewhere in my house, that they will, if they want to get back together as a family, they can do it down here in the Creek Valley. So that's where I'm headed. And I see all kinds of wildflowers. I love this time of year. And you know, right now, with social distancing happening and the uncertainty that's out there, this different time of our lives, this unpredictability, it is so healing to me, and so brings me joy to know that spring is still predictable, that the wildflowers are still blooming right on schedule, that the birds are being flirtatious with each other. Yesterday morning, Bill noticed a red-winged blackbird out on a branch out near our bird feeder. There'd been a couple of females flying around, and then there was the male sitting on the branch. And you know, the little strip of red on the red-winged blackbird's wing is so brilliant. It's just such a flash, especially if the sun hits it just right, and you know, so distinctive. But it was the first time that either of us had seen a male red-winged blackbird showing off his stuff for his female counterparts. and he rounded up his wings, and that red strip became like 4 or 5 times as wide as it normally is. And it was just this big red, spot. It was beautiful. And so we enjoyed watching that for a while. So that's one thing that we're doing over and over, is just being delighted in the natural things of life. And I guess we kind of do it on a regular basis anyway, but right now it seems like we're tuned in at a different level. I think because there's not a lot of, we're not running around a bunch, for one thing. We're staying pretty much hunkered down, and so maybe we can be here now in a much more intentional way than usual. Down in the creek valley, you can probably hear the dry leaves crunching underfoot. I see lilies, or not lilies of the valley, I see spring beauties. I see spring beauties polka dotting the forest floor everywhere, and pepper root, and the woods rue anemone started blooming 2 or 3 days ago. The trout lily, the bright yellow lily of the trout lily, it's the only yellow flower I've seen so far. The hepatica bloomed a few days ago, but they've about gone away now. There might still be a few of them over there on the creek bank, but they come and go very quickly. They're one of the first flowers I see in the springtime, in March. There's one valley where a whole lot of them bloom, white and pink and really pale purple, and I used to walk up that valley, but it's really a rough one to walk up because it doesn't have a path, and you kind of have to struggle and climb to get up through there, and I chose not to climb up through there this year. I'm not quite as agile to be able to climb over logs and things that lie across the gully that you have to go up to get to those, so I didn't go up there this year. But there are a few that bloom down here along the creek. Another thing that's blooming that I think I just saw for the first time 2 days ago was the phlox, the wild phlox. They're so pretty. And I saw the bloodroot yesterday for the first time. And of course the harbinger of spring, that's always the first one I see. Little tiny salt and pepper, I think, is the common name. And I always, when it blooms, it's like, yes, spring is here. The Dutchman's breeches. I just stepped over a log and almost stepped on the Dutchman's breeches. It's an unusual little flower, the little ballooning pants on the fern-like leaf. I'm going to walk all the way around down here by the creek, and in a little bit I'm going to be close to a waterfall. It's a small waterfall, but it makes a really pretty music, and I'll be there in a little while. I'm almost to the point where I'll let the little mouse go. Getting ready to cross the creek. I have a bridge that goes across the creek here that I'm crossing right now. And right here by this big sycamore is where I let the mouse go. So I'm gonna put my phone down now and get the Have a Heart mouse trap out. Open the door and prop it up with a piece of bark so the mouse can climb out at its leisure. And I'll leave it here and then pick it up on my way back. Okay. I read a poem there at Terre Haute UU, a while back, probably last year sometime, about this old tree, the biggest sycamore tree in our valley down here, that I like to walk to and sing a Native American healing chant. And I don't know if I'm saying the words right. I have no idea what they mean. I am grateful for my friend Carmen, who is has a lot of I think her dad, both her mother and her dad were Native American, and she taught us this song years ago. And so even though I don't know what it's saying, what it means, it's called a healing chant, and I like the way it feels in my heart and in my singing and in my feelings. I love the way it feels when I sing it. I put my hands on the moss that covers the sycamore, the trunk of the sycamore tree. I put my hands on the moss and I sing this healing chant. And I think of family and friends and the earth. I think of, people who are struggling in particular that I might know of. I think of right now with this pandemic and the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare people, all those who are having to keep that part of this working as well as they can. I think about refugees and wars and, it's just all that stuff that we are filled up with sometimes, the good and the bad. I think of my friends in prison. I think of my special friend Philip, who's in prison, and the joy of knowing him and the sadness of knowing where he is, and I think of my friend in Indy right now who's expecting her third baby, expecting her second little girl. She has a boy and a little girl, and now she's expecting her second little girl anytime now, in these next couple of weeks, and having to deal with it in the middle of this crisis, and her being afraid of that. So I think of lots of people and places and situations, and I put my hands on the soft bark of this sycamore tree, and I sing. Abunicho nero ne na ne se na. Abunicho nero ne na ne se na. Abunicho nicto nero ne. Inde a heyo, way a hey. Way a hey a hi, hey a hi. Way a hey a hi, hey a hi. Inde a hey a, inde a heyo, way a hey. Oh. Yeah, I call this my wailing wall. This grandmother sycamore tree is my wailing wall. So I'm going to walk on around the valley here. This is quite a sycamore grove right through here. There are lots and lots of sycamores down here in the valley. I saw a great horned owl in a tree down here one time. It's been a while ago now, but it was so beautiful. He was looking down at me. He did his little whoo whoo, kind of deep, and caught my attention, and I looked up, and there he was, up in the top of one of those sycamore trees. I've found mushrooms down in here before too. It's kind of chilly today. We've had such beautiful weather this last week, and some really bright blue sky days. But today's kind of chilly. The, what am I trying to think of? The, I'll say it in a minute. Well, maybe I won't. Forget about that one. May apples. That's what I was going to say. The May apples. In the last 3 days, they've shot up like 3 inches. You know, from just a little unopened umbrella that kind of pokes up through the forest floor, and then up and up. I don't think any of them are opened all the way out yet. They're still kind of being droopy umbrellas. But I know when they've come up this far that it's about time for the morel mushrooms. So if we have some warm days now, we should have some morels. Okay, I'm almost to the north edge of our property. There's a dead cedar tree back here. There was a little part of it was living when we first moved here, which was how many years ago? 28 years ago. And part of this tree was still alive then, but it's all dead now. But it's beautiful. And it's sort of at the north end of our land, or of the land we call our land. And here's the little waterfall that I used to be able to step across the creek here, but the erosion has happened so much in the past many years that I can't step across here anymore. It's quite a little steep embankment, so I have to take a circuitous route to get across the other side of the creek. There's blue clay in the creek right here, and that's mainly what the water is running over, is this clay that is hardened in the bottom of the creek. There aren't many rocks here. It's mostly the blue clay and the different levels that it has made here at the creek, in the bend of the creek. Isn't that beautiful? It's one of those places where I breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. I'm so grateful for this sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I share this living sanctuary with you. I feel pretty blessed, not because of anything I've done to deserve it, but just really fortunate that I live where I live right now, that I have a place that I can walk, that there aren't other people here, that I share with the wild things, and that I can come out anytime I want. Up on top of that hill right there, there's a little hill. And I think it was the second year we lived here, I found a, what's it called? An orchid lady slipper. Really beautiful, right up at the top of this little hill. And I've gone back up there every spring since and haven't seen it again. So I don't know if the slipper's just there and gone really quickly and I'm not seeing it, or it just bloomed that year and maybe hasn't bloomed since. I don't know, but it's a little magical spot, kind of. It's also the place that I first find chanterelle mushrooms during chanterelle season. That's my beginning spot. I'll know that soon there's going to be more chanterelles around if I walk up this little hill right here and find chanterelles up there on top of it. Well, I've probably talked long enough and have enjoyed sharing my little bit of paradise with you. And I hope and I pray, I wish, I want, I sing for your health and well-being, for your peace within yourself, for your being able to find just what you need to make it through this different time that we're experiencing, this unpredictable time. And I hope you're also searching out ways to stay in touch with those things that are predictable, to keep you grounded, to keep your feet, on the earth sometimes. I mean, and the real earth, not just your floor. If you can get outside and get your feet on some, on the dirt. Maybe put your hands in the dirt. Bill and I have started a garden. We don't have much going yet, but we've planted a little lettuce and a few peas. So we've had our hands in the dirt a little. Anyway, this has been very, spontaneous and not perfect. And I've enjoyed walking with you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope to see you soon. Love you all. Bye.
Our closing hymn is number 158, Praise the Source of Faith and Learning.
Our closing words are number 691 by May Sarton. Help us to be the always hopeful gardeners of the Spirit, who know that without darkness nothing comes to birth, as without light nothing flowers.
May the blessings of love rest upon you. May peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore.
I'd like to remind everybody that my YouTube account contains an archive of all of our recorded services from this spring, and also that in a link that was sent with the service today, you can see Alex McNichols' talk from last weekend if you didn't catch it then. I hope we see you back next week when it'll be Bill Breeden with the sermon. Be at peace. Know that you are loved and that your life is sacred.